It is great to be back in this part of the state, and we're going to announce some really good news for the local economy. We are here to announce that the Texas Enterprise Fund investment of that $675,000 to Tapco International will lead to the creation of at least 100 jobs. And today we break ground. Next summer, this facility that takes shape on this site, part of that Tapco Enpro capital investment of $26 million in Baytown and Chambers County, will be filled with workers producing equipment for our state's vibrant energy industry. They have a worldwide reputation. They are respected producers of quality technology used in areas from naval defense to oil and gas production. Putting that Made in Texas stamp on the side of each of those products will only add to their already strong reputation. Never let it be said that Texans are short on bragging. Caterpillar's moving another one of their manufacturing facilities. One of the things that I get the biggest charge out is seeing big pieces of equipment manufactured in the state of Texas, like those Tundra pickup trucks and soon to be Tacoma pickups that they made. Those Caterpillar engines, every Caterpillar engine manufactured in the world will have Made in Texas stamped on the side. I know, Dr. Poole, there are some people that, think Texans are just a little over the top with their love of their state and their braggadociousness, but the fact of the matter is we got a lot to crow about. Considering the relative strength of our economy, we're sitting in pretty doggone good shape relative to the other 49 states. And the main reason is because of the men and women that call this state home. The reason we are where we are today is because of Texans. It's people who buckle down, who do the work, who build and sustain a business in this state. And they're succeeding in a job-friendly climate. Craig and his colleagues have really worked over the last 6, 7, 8 years to make sure that we keep a state that's got low taxes and a regulatory climate that is fair and predictable, a legal system that doesn't allow for oversuing, public school systems that are appropriately funded and accountable. That says to companies like this one, to Caterpillar, to Toyota, to Medtronics, you can come to Texas and you can invest a substantial amount of your capital in this state, and you know that the skilled workforce will be there because of those of you in our educational process are developing the skilled workforce that is so necessary in this technology today. We got some serious problems economically, particularly internationally and at the national level. And the positive aspects of the Texas economy really stand out when you compare it to the rest of the country. Texas has added more than 168,000 new jobs since January of this year, 16,000 in June and July alone. That's a very big deal. It's a big deal for a lot of reasons, but it's the biggest deal to people who were unemployed in December of 2009 and today have a good job in the state of Texas. Our success inspires employers in other states. And, people who are seeking relief from high taxes and onerous regulations, they're moving to the state of Texas. I imagine folks at Tapco Enpro can tell you more about that, but their decision to build one of these plants is one of those classics, a picture is worth 1,000 words opportunities. And it says volumes about the strength of the Texas economy. Decisions like this are further proof that we're on the right track. We're reaping the benefits of policy decisions that are job-friendly and fiscally disciplined. You all remember back in 2003, we had a $10 billion budget shortfall. We didn't jack up taxes. We took the same approach that you've taken in your personal lives and in your small businesses. You drew the line between wants and needs. You prioritized. And we won't hesitate to take that approach again. We also took aim at frivolous lawsuits in the state. We reduced those lawsuits with a constitutional amendment that codified it in our Constitution. We also focused our efforts on incentives, making it possible to close the deals with companies, just like this company we're working with today, looking to relocate, looking to expand in the state of Texas. As part of a coordinated effort between the state and local officials and local business leaders, the Texas Enterprise Fund provides a very valuable tool to bring those businesses into the state of Texas or help those that are already here expand. Over most of the past decade, that collaborative effort has occurred all across Texas in towns big and small, securing more than 53,600 jobs in this state and $14.4 billion worth of capital investment in the state of Texas. That is investment that could have gone somewhere else. Efforts like this to keep these jobs in the state of Texas, along with those paychecks that go with them, are entirely worth that investment. So on behalf of more than 24 million people that call Texas home, I want to congratulate Tapco Enpro on this facility, wish you great success into the in the future, and I want to ask their he's the Vice President, General Manager of their Oil and Gas Division, Cliff Jacobs, here, and I'm going to ask him just to say a few words. Cliff? There you are, Cliff.
Thank you, Governor, and of course Congressman Island, Mayor Don Carlos, officials from Baytown, community leaders also from Chambers, Tapco Enpro leadership team, family, friends, and Mom. Welcome. This is a huge event, and this is one of those things that I could truly go on and on and on about, as trained by the great General Manager, Joe DeTola here. And Joe, really, raise your hand. This is the guy who's led this whole thing and made it happen. And tell you how we will roll high-strength steel alloys 8 inches thick into huge vessels that will have cranes that will manipulate 100 tons at a time to fabricate some extraordinary structures. That what will roll down this road off to the waterway will be 1.5 million pounds of great product with that Made in Texas stamp on it. So there are a lot of numbers behind this, and I won't trouble you with those, except to say that petrochemical refiners, our customers around the world, are going to enjoy some great innovation, wonderful products for safe and efficient production of petrochemical refined products everywhere. But the real celebration here today is not so much about all those numbers and fresh concrete and big cranes and all the sparks that fly that excite us that love to make things. It's a celebration of the things that are special about this place, and that's people and possibility. And I'll start with the TEI team. This is a group of people that just would not hear no, who have looked out at a time in weak markets and said the right thing we should do in weak markets with refinery capacities or refinery production high and yet low demand, some tough price points for their product, difficulty to make money in the refinery business today. What do we want to do? We want to invest in it. We want to take the risk. We want to move ahead because we believe in the once and future choice of energy worldwide, which is oil. And we believe in this place in Texas that has the heritage, the culture of how to take risk and do well in that business. So my thanks to TEI that let me go before the board of directors and the shareholders and say we want to take a tens of millions of dollar risk, calculated risk, here at the Cedar Crossing site, and they said unanimously yes. To the Baytown and Chambers County officials and to the Economic Development Fund partners, you understand our industry. You understand what it means to be in this game, that it's a long-term proposition, and that we need to be surrounded by a community that understands that has in place all the aspects of community infrastructure. And I don't just mean roads and high power lines that we don't have to move when we move a big vessel. And I don't just mean a waterway. I mean all the things that we've talked about here: schools, family, community, that support an infrastructure, a social infrastructure that makes it a great place to live and work. And to the citizens and the political leadership of Texas, who prove again and again that a business that recognizes possibility, that understands that our vision that we state for this building, this place, is an articulation of a dream, and that dream is built on possibilities, and that you've made an environment that encourages prudent but visionary risk. That's so important to let us make a choice to build a building here when we could have built it almost anywhere in the world. 85% of the customers, at least for this product, will be outside the borders of the United States. But we chose here to build a product. Texas understands how to work with companies to protect the environment and protect their workers with a regulatory environment that makes sense. Our best safety record exists at Joe's Channelview facility, where you are now 2 million hours or close to it. Oh, excuse me, 3 million man hours accident-free. Now, if you go in, and that deserves applause, folks, believe me. So how do we do that? We talked some about leadership earlier. It certainly is the industrial leadership of this team, but I believe they would quite happily credit the work that they do, amongst others, with the Texas Tech, my apologies, the Texas Tech extension that helps us with our the organization of our workflow, because a shop that's ergonomic and flows well is safer. Ergonomic is economic. We get help from the state of Texas to make that happen. The Department of Environmental Quality has been very forthcoming in helping us to design a paint facility here that will absolutely minimize and maintain the volatile organic compounds and other things that are part of painting very large vessels like this. So there's so much in Texas that happens to make us successful and make this a place we want to be. So in closing, I want to thank everyone here for understanding what possibility can do, and that is a Texas character. 50 years ago, a little more than that, my dad carried a family here on the possibility of what he could do and what we could be. And growing up in East Texas, my other favorite Aggie, who was Mr. Sandlin, my earth science teacher, had a jar of sour crude and a jar of sweet crude, and I can tell you, I know what they taste like. It was a great place to be. It's a great place to be today. I'm so excited to come home again. Thank you all.